Okay, so what was her feeling place? Reluctance, uncertainty, inadequacy, not sure that I really am the one. Easy to understand, isn't it? This is intimidating. But can you feel that? Can you feel that uncertainty that you felt? It felt off, didn't it? Felt off.
And it's funny because I was sitting there.
Funny meaning she's going to tell us something else just exactly like that.
I was thinking about raising my hand, and I was like noticing the thought of like, maybe I'm not worthy to be there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I want it, but if we hadn't been in cohorts with your inner being, you've got this huge team of knowers and energies who are aware of you, who are calling you to all kinds of places that you feel hesitant about. But that's passing. Something like this is a good thing to remember. Remember the feeling place of this. So now, does this feeling place feel like a lecture? Or like, at last, here we are together. Oh, that sounded evil. Wait. Oh, at last, here we are together. No, that's not right either. We're really glad you're here. We're really glad you're here. And we felt you coming. And when we looked around the room, the light around you showed us it was you. But we can see your light, but you can't feel it quite. Yeah.
Why?
Say what?
Why?
Because you practice the other thought. By verbalizing it, by thinking about it. To be here in the hot seat and having a conversation with us. Can you describe the feeling of that?
It's like a child, so excited and so happy and so like pleasure to be in the dynamic.
Yeah, it's like a feeling of well-being. It's like, yeah. And so as you touch that feeling, then it's the opposite feeling that is the answer to your why. And as you can find that feeling, you can find the other feeling too. In other words, as warm and welcoming as being in sync with who you really are feels, being out of sync feels that awkward and shy and uncomfortable, doesn't it? So you just want to be aware and just step into the shade more often, that's all. So what's on your mind?
So many things. It's like I have so many questions.
So many things. You have so many things, but you know they're all about the same thing. Because your point of attraction is what it is, and so all those things are going to point back to the same thing. So just pick the most interesting one and let's get after it.
Okay. So one of the things that I've been...
Oh, not that. No. Wait.
One of the things that my husband and I, we talk a lot about it is I was in a completely different field before stepping to this like spiritual, personal development world. And
hardly anybody is really tuned into this. They're in all kinds of different phases of it. First of all, it takes knowing that your inner being is actively aware of you. And then a decision that you want to be the same vibrational frequency of your inner being before anything real starts to happen for you. Sometimes you can talk yourself into a feeling. We interrupted you.
It's okay. And I feel like I notice myself sometimes thinking that this path, yes, it sometimes brings so much joy, but also brings the other side of so much confusion and so much uncertainty and so much contraction. All
right, so in this situation, as with the woman in Amsterdam, it's easier to poke around at the end of the stick that doesn't feel so good. So verbalize that just a little bit until you activate a clear feeling about that. Bring it into something specific, like...
It feels sad. It feels dark. It feels...
like the absence of light.
Yeah.
Like lonely.
Yes, feel lonely.
There's only a source of that goodness, of that love. And people can be in tune with that source, or they can be pinching it off. But there's no source of darkness. There's no source of evil. There's no switch on the wall that, instead of diminishing the light, puts inky, misty, dark stuff in the room. There's nothing that covers up the light. There's just a disallowance of the light. In fact, they call it resistors in electricity. Did you know that? They call it resistors that diminish the amount of current that is flowing. It's literally called a resistor. And so when you realize that there's only this stream of well-being that flows that you can allow or not, and the way you feel is about that, and it's not about what somebody else is doing, it's about what you're doing. Now, it might be because of what you've learned or what you've heard along the way, but with just a little bit of attention, you can show yourself, you can recognize when you're in alignment, and you can recognize when you're not. And once you get that going, then you can accomplish being in alignment when you realize that you are not. But the thing that we really want to say to all of you is, when you're having your hardest time, don't try to get in alignment then, because it's like the tug of war. Picture a team, and there are 5 strong people on each end of a rope, and they are pulling, and they are pretty equally matched. And so it's just going on and on and on and on and on and on. Now, it's possible that one team could get more motivated and just pull harder and win. But let's say they really are equally matched. So the way you get things to go in the direction that you're pulling, this is going to sound really weird to you. Let go of the rope. Abraham, that sounds opposite. But it's pushing against or pulling against that is what keeping you from going in the direction that you want to go. As you play with this a little bit and you show yourself that the better you feel, the better you feel, and that you can feel better, and then you start connecting the dots of what happens next and what happens next. So give us an example of something that is really confusing. The way we heard it, you said, I tuned into this, and a lot of the times I feel good. That's the thing that people have been telling Jerry and Esther, and now Esther and team, more than any other letter that comes or any other conversation that comes. I felt like I always knew this. I felt like I was coming home to something. That's the comment that is most often made. Everybody doesn't make a comment, but that is a comment that most often is made. So when you think about coming into a realization or alignment with who you are, and think about how that feels, and then think about pinching that off. All negative emotion, every negative emotion is about some degree of not allowing yourself to be in full sync with who you really are. Every bit of it. And once you get that clear, then you can evaluate through your own life experience. Start with that premise. My inner being is love, pure positive energy, always an uplifter, always an advocate for something, never a protester against something. And then next time you feel, whether you're with others or in your own mind, feel yourself all knotted up, stop and say, what's going on with me? And we're certain that you'll recognize that you've taken some stance against something, you're pushing against something, and so you've departed from your inner being who is not doing that.
But then why we keep doing that thing? So for example,
because you haven't made how you feel a high enough priority. We were visiting with a woman one day. She lived in an apartment complex. It wasn't a place that was very satisfying to her. There were lots of things about it that she didn't like. But they were pet friendly, and she had a cat, and so she stayed. And then it came under new management, and they were no longer pet friendly. But it was hard work to move, and she really didn't want to move, and she was pretty settled in. So she's sneaking out with her cat in the middle of the night, and it's under her coat, and she's walking through the parking lots and trying to find a way to still live there with the cat. And finally, enough was enough, and she moved out. And we said, so you'll move for your cat, but you won't move for you? People have been taught that perseverance is a virtue, and suffering is good, and that there's no gain without pain. And that nobody said that life is supposed to be easy. We'll tell you that. The reason it isn't easy for people is because they try to use action to compensate for energy that they didn't get in alignment. Get the energy working for you, and you just go with the flow. But when you're trying to buck your own current, and by the way, the only thing that is ever there for you to buck is your own current. Now you can blame it on others because they introduced you to the thought that is the reason that you're pushing against, but it really is an internal thing that is happening. So your question, why do we keep doing it? It's momentum. The law of attraction is responding to whatever your thought is and bringing you more of it. It's momentum. The law of attraction is a momentum maker. And so the law of attraction will, by your investment in thought, take you away from what you want or toward what you want, or a combination of both, which is really uncomfortable. So we're talking about focusing emotion rather than focusing thought because it's less complicated.